Now, so now are you getting my voice?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So the thing is, the control statements will be which is used to control the controller. So what is meant by controller means? So the controller, it will be appear at the time of execution time, and it will show the flow of execution. So first line, second line, like that. And instead of executing in sequence manner, if you want to do any modification, then we can go with control statements. So every programming language is having their own control statement, and the maximum they have, one is called if statement. So every programming language is having if statement, and then looping statements are there. So looping statements also comes under control statements. In C programming, we are having three types of loops. One is called while loop, then do while loop, and then for loop. So these are the three types of looping statements available in C programming. So first we discuss regarding if statement. So if statement, we can also call it as a decision making statement. We can also call it as a decision making statement. So in some programs, you may having some decision making things. You're supposed to go with some decision making. At that situation, with the help of if statement, we can process that one. For example, assume it, I need to travel from X to Y. I need to travel from X to Y, location X to location Y. So when I want to travel from location X to location Y, assume it, I'm having two roads. One is this one, and another one is this one. So I'm having two roads, and which is having, this is one, I was having the very less distance. For example, assume it, some 2 kilometers distance are there, and this is, we are having 8 kilometers distance. So to travel from X to Y, so one road is there which we can travel by 2 kilometers only. Another road, if you choose second one, so we need to travel 8 kilometers. In that situation, everyone will prefer the shortest path only, means this road only we can choose. But the thing is, so this road is not in proper way. So we have number of junk speed breakers are there, and road is not good. Okay. So if it is a rainy season, you can't able to travel in this way. So must and shouldly, you should choose this way only. So if it is not a rainy season, then you can travel in this way. So means when you want to choose the path 1 or path 2, means when you want to choose the road 1 or road 2, the first option will be the road 1 only. Means why? Because it is having less distance. But should keep in mind that the season, now which season? Is it rainy season? If it is a rainy season, so not at all preferable this area. Why? Because the road 1 will not be preferable. So in rainy season, you can't able to travel. You can't able to travel. So that's why you need to check whether the season is it rainy or winter season or else anything. So just you need to check, is it rainy? So if season equal to rainy, then choose road 1, sorry, road 2, else road 1. So when the season is rainy season, then you should prefer road 2 only. If it is not a rainy season, then you can prefer road 1. Always you can prefer road 1. But When you're supposed to go with road 2 means if it is a rainy season, then road 1 is not a good. Okay, so they will be having a lot of obstacles. That's why we can choose road 2. Means when the person who is in X position, the person who is in X position, they need to take the decision whether they need to travel from road 1 or road 2. Why they need to take the decision? Directly you can choose road 1 only. Why? Because less distance. But based on the climate, you're supposed to choose. So before traveling from road 1, you need to check, is it rainy season? If it is rainy season, then you go with road 2. If not, then go with road 1. So such type of real problems are there. So to implement such type of problems through programming, then we can go with decision making statement that is called if statement. So if statement is one type of decision making statement. So when it comes to if statement, we have different types of statements on it. So one is called simple if. Second one is if else. Third one is compound if. Or else I can say that if else ladder. Fourth one is compound if. And fifth one is nested if. So all are decision making statements only. When it comes to simple if, the syntax will be like this: if condition some statements. So in if statement, if it is doesn't have any else, I can say that simple if. Means here we don't have any decision making things. If such a, if that there is a situation, if you don't have decision making things, then we can go with simple if only. For example, when I took some previous example, just you need to check that is it rainy season. So I can write like this. I need to choose the road, which road I want to use. For example, road I preferred one by default. By default, I preferred one. I need to check if season equal to rainy. Then I need to choose road 2. So if I print the result, if I print road, so it may go with either 1 or 2. By default, it is 1. By default, everyone will choose 1 only. But if it is a rainy season, then they will choose 2. So here in this lack of situation, we can go with simple if. So here the condition is it rainy season? If it is rainy season, then the statement which is mentioned will going to execute. Means I mentioned road equal to 2. So means the road will be 2. If it is not rainy season, means if the condition is not satisfied, if the given condition is not satisfied, if this condition is not satisfied, then road will become 1 only. Why? Because I am choosing 1 only. So if the condition, whatever mentioned condition is not satisfied, then road will be 1 only. If it is satisfied, then road will be 2. So this is simple if. Similarly, if else is there. If else syntax will be like this: if condition, then statements, else statements. So if condition, it is going to check the condition if it is satisfied or not. If the condition is satisfied, then these statements are going to execute. If the condition is satisfied, then these statements are going to execute. If the condition is not satisfied, then these statements are going to execute. Okay, means here I'm having 2 blocks. block 1, block 2. If the condition is satisfied, then block 1 is going to execute. If the condition is not satisfied, then block 2 is going to execute. Okay. So that will be the based on the given condition. Okay. So similarly, next we have else if ladder. Else if ladder is nothing but more than one else only. Means it will be like this: if condition statements else, again if condition, if condition statements, like that you may having number of if else's, then that we can say that if else ladder or else if ladder. Okay. Next one is we have compound if. Compound if is nothing but if statement with more than one condition. So if statement with more than one condition, call it as a compound if. When you want to define if statement with more than one condition, so in that situation, you should use logical operators, that is and or. So with the help of and or, you can define more than one condition. So that is about compound if. And next we're having nested if. Nested if is nothing but if within a if only. So if you defined if statement within another if statement, then I can call it as a nested if. Okay. So these are all the types of if statements which we can use in our program. So based on the situation, we can use it. And next we have another type of control statement that is called go to statement. So not only go to, so you have, so if statements are there. So go to statement is there. Looping statements are there. Break statement is there. Continue statement is there. And switch case is there, or else switch statement. So this all comes under control statements. Okay. So based on your situation, you can use which type of control statements you want. So based on the program only, you're supposed to choose. Okay. So whether we need to go with simple if or nested if or else something else. Okay. So for this examples, we can go through on the website CodeChef. So already in previous class, which we discussed regarding CodeChef. So just you can go with CodeChef website. So you can go with practice purpose. So practice problems by different like this you can go. So go problems by different practice. So for practice purpose, you may get different types of examples. These are all business level. So here we can go with the basic programming. So basic programming is nothing but which is having control statements, So this is example for cheaper cab. So cheaper cab is nothing but So here we have, so the person who is planning to travel to some location, and in the person who is residing in some country, they assume it is having two cab facilities. Okay, so one cab is, they need to choose which cab service they need to utilize. So for example, Ola is there, Uber is there. Okay. So here, the person who need to check the, who need to take the decision whether he can utilize the services of Uber or else Ola. So how we can utilize the services of Ola or Uber means based on the transportation charges. Assume it, if Ola is providing the transportation charges of 80 rupees and Uber is providing the transportation charges of 90 rupees, then the user can choose Ola only, first service provider only. Okay. So like that, some problems are there which we can check it. Okay. So just I'm going to mention the problem. I think in previous class only we solved this issue. So the first cab service charges are X rupees and the second cab services are Y rupees. It means we need to take X and Y values. Okay. And chef wants to spend the minimum amount of money. Which cab service should be chef take? Okay. So this is the example. Okay. So here I need to take input of X and Y. I need to take input of X and Y, and I need to check which one is providing low service charges. So I will execute with one online compiler. We'll go through on that one. So hope you got an idea what is the problem which I'm going to solve. So just the thing is I need to check this one. So chef has to travel to another place. For this, he can avail any one of two cab services. So in his hand, there is having two cab services. The first cab service charges X rupees. The second cab service charges Y rupees. So chef wants to spend the minimum amount of money. Which cab service should be chef takes? That is the thing, I think. So whoever the service provider giving the low cost, so that service only he needs to utilize. So here the input will be like this. So I'm taking some int X comma Y. So X is nothing but the price of first cab service provider. Y is nothing but the price of second cab service provider. So I'm going to print the message printf. So enter price of first cab service provider. Or else price, or else I can say that expenses, whatever it may be. Okay. So, and here it is a printf is nothing but it is a prompt message, and we don't have anything. Just I mentioned prompt message. If you want, you can use it. Otherwise, you no need to write the step. Directly, you can go with scanf percentage d comma ampersand x. Similarly, you need to take the price of second cab service provider. So printf enter price of second cab service provider. So second cab service provider price I need to check it. Ampersand y and taking. So now the intention is, so I want to mention which service provider the chef is going to utilize, whether first or second. So they said that whoever the chef wants to spend the minimum amount of money, he wants to spend minimum amount of money. So if the first service provider is providing service for less money, then he can choose first one only. If not, then second one. Okay. So here the condition is I'm checking if x is greater than y. X is nothing but the price of service provider first cap service provider value, and y is nothing the price of second cap service provider. If x is greater than y, means x is charging more than y, means the service provider 1 is charging more than 2. So he can choose second one only. So printf, I am saying second. So if not means else. Simply I'm saying printf first. Okay. So just you need to run the program. So enter price of first cab service provider. I'm entering some 80 rupees. Enter price of second cab service provider. I'm entering some 35 or some 70 rupees. So I'm getting the output is second. Why? Because the second service provider is providing for 70 rupees. First one is providing for 80 rupees. So there is a 10 rupees variation. Not only 10, even 1 rupee also. Okay. He can choose second one only. So like that, we can go with decision making statements. Okay. So whatever the program you're going to write, first you need to check any inputs are there. So if any inputs are there, just you need to count it how many inputs you are going to take and what type of data you are going to take. So just to declare the variables for that one. Then after, you need to count any calculations are there. If calculations are there, for every calculation, you're supposed to take one variable, additional variable, and you need to decide the data type also. Okay. So, and then the main logic. In this program, I need to take the prices of X and Y. Means X is nothing but the price of first service provider. Y is nothing but the price of second service provider. Both I accepted. And then I need to choose which service provider the chef is going to utilize. So whichever the amount less, they can utilize. Just I'm going to check if X greater than Y, then it is using second one. Otherwise, it is using first one. So such type of problems, if you want to solve, then go with decision making statement. So, and you can find n number of problems in codechef, codechef.com. So I'm using this one. So I'm having a lot of problems out there. We can do practice, then we can get good idea. And if you want to check this also, you can also use this one. So for example, podium finish. It is one problem. So there's a lot of matter is there. Just you need to study and you need to analyze what it is going to process. Then you can implement the program. For example, here saying that chef got his dream seat in F1 and secured a third place in his debate race. He now wants to know the time gap between him and the winner of the race. So you are his chief engineer and you only know the time gap between the chef and the runner-up of the race, given as A seconds, and the time gap between the runner-up and the winner of the race, given as B seconds. So please calculate and inform the chef about the time gap between him and the winner of the race. So the input is the first line of the input will contain the single integer t. It is number of test cases. You don't need to use that one. Second one, each test case consists a single line of input containing two space separated integers a and b, denoting the time gap between the chef and the runner up and the time gap between the runner up and the winner. So chef is secured third place. Okay, chef is secured third place and he wants to know the time gap. So here I'm using two time gaps. One is called A, so which indicates A is nothing but the time gap between the chef and the runner-up, means between 3 and 2. And I'm using B, so the time gap between the runner-up and winner, means between 2 and 1. So how can find out the total time gap? between third position of chef and winner. That is a thing, and that is the thing you're supposed to calculate. Here they will provide a sample inputs also. He said 1 1, so means 2. 2 5 means 7. 3 2, nothing but 5. 5 6, nothing but 11. What they did here? Just addition. So it is a simple problem to perform the addition of two numbers. But when I said addition of two numbers, simply you can do it. But here they gave with live example. So the chef who got in third position, he wants to know the time gap between him and winner. How much time there is. Okay. So if you perform addition of third position to runner up and runner up to winner, then we can find it. So like that, you can do practice on code chef. So there is a number of examples are there. Just do practice and you will increase the chances to improve your skills. Programming skills, you can improve it. Okay. So this is about today's class. And next class will continue tomorrow.